shit. I'm Batman. Welcome to another episode of the Top 5 Saturdays Live podcast. I'm Chase Lee, one of your co-hosts, and on this week's episode, we are going to be honoring Christian Bale for his new film, The Promise, which promises you to forget about the movie since there was little to no marketing behind it. Christian Bale has had a great filmography, playing the iconic role of the rubber-suited Batman, all the way to losing a shit ton of pounds in The Machinist. What will we choose as our number one? Will we choose the Terminator Salvation rant? Who the fuck knows? Tune in to find out, and I'm back. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Top 5 Saturdays Live podcast with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, if you're new to the show, welcome. What we do is we take a look at some of the movies coming out on Friday, and we will pick an actor, actress, genre, director, what have you from the movies of the opening weekend, and we will honor said subject or person and create a top 5 episode for you guys. And the cool thing about this show is that it's live, so we have no idea what the hell is going to come out of our mouths, and we don't know each other's lists. So, we take that, person or subject, create a top 5 list of the movies that we really appreciate the most. So, so if you're new, welcome once again. If we scared you off, bye. Before we begin and discuss today's topic, Brian, how are we doing this week?
I'm doing very well this week. I just registered for my classes for next semester, and I have no Friday classes. However, that's awesome. I'm going on my first film set tomorrow this year because, I'm a filmmaking major and we're supposed to go on sets. And, with the film critic biz, I don't have time to do that stuff. But since there's nothing coming out this week, at least I thought there wasn't, I'm going to a set. Should be fun. It'll be tiring, but you know what? Meet new people. It's awesome. But other than that, I'm doing pretty fucking good. How are you, Chase?
Oh, just another week in the bag, and another week in doing this fine episode with you. So, speaking of this fine-ass, sweet-ass, sexy-ass episode with you, who are we doing this week? And I mean in the literal sense and the sexual sense. Brian, who are we doing?
This week, in honor of The Promise, the movie starring Oscar Isaac, and the person we're honoring this week and also doing, Christian Bale.
Yes, and just like I made the joke in the intro, listen, if our number one Christian Bale film is the Terminator Salvation rant, then I will allow it. I will allow that to be on the list. It is okay with me, fam. Do not be discouraged. But anyways, Christian Bale, the guy's an enigma. It doesn't matter what he's in. I'm always looking forward to it. I mean, shit, I've been a fan of this guy since 2000, when I was like 10 or 11 years old when I saw American Psycho for the first time. So I've been a fan of his for a good while now. And, of course, I'm Batman. I mean, that's what he's most famous for in this kind of generation, which is great because then when people like him in that series, then they can go venture off and watch his other stuff, which is also amazing as well. So I like Christian Bale quite a bit. I don't give a shit if he rants behind the scenes or whatnot. He had a hot day, and he yelled at someone, okay? And if that's how he normally is, okay, he's an asshole. I don't give a shit. I'm judging him on his work, and his work is very diverse and very, very sexy indeed. I like most of his movies. I've never been fully disappointed with anything he does. It's just he always pops into something, whether it be something as big as a Batman or do something super small as like a Big Short, and you're like, oh, he's great all around. So, yeah, I like me some Bale. The Bale the Kale the Bale. So, Brian, what about you? What do you think of the Bale? And do you like him? Do you look forward to him? Or what's going on?
I fucking love Christian Bale. I think he's one of the best. I think he's one of the best actors we have working today. He is so versatile with what he could do. He could do no wrong. Even if the movie is other shit, he usually gives his all. He's so good with every genre, with comedy, drama. He played the superhero. The guy's an absolute talent. He's wonderful. He's an Oscar winner, of course. I think he's a marvelous actor, and he has yet to disappoint when it comes to his performances. I mean, this guy's been acting since he was a kid, which is crazy. He's been in so many movies. He's worked with so many fantastic directors, from Spielberg to Nolan to McKay. So many I can't think of on top of my head. Sorry, sue me. But no, Christian Bale is a fantastic talent. I'm really excited to honor him. And while the promise doesn't look promising, that laugh just echoed so loud in my ear. Holy shit!
Good. I hope it's bleeding.
It's bleeding internally, and I want to kill myself. No, the movie doesn't look that great, but I'm sure he's fantastic. And in his beard, though, woof, that looks quite hunky. So, but yeah, I'm really excited to honor Bale. He's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see what kind of preference that we have and whatnot. Because I don't know, Brian could steer more to the superhero side, or he could steer more to the smaller side. I have no clue. Moment in time. So let's find out, and let's get on with the show, everyone. And before we begin, all my wonderful listeners out there and avid followers, I'm talking to you, John, Jamon, and Kenny, basically 3 people. But no, I know there's a lot of you guys, but continue to comment down below what are some of your favorite or least favorite Christian Bale films, and also spread this around and let people know it's a decent podcast. It's a good podcast to listen to while you're taking a dump. All right, so Top 5 Saturdays Live. Let's begin. And Brian, I have to ask you the covenant question every single week. What is your number 5 favorite Christian Bale film of all time so far?
My number 5, I'm going with a Western film, and that is 3:10 to Yuma.
Okay, so this one's not on my list, but I do appreciate a good Western, and I will say this. I have yet to see the original. I know, I'm a millennial. It's devastating, I know. But I've seen the remake, and I enjoyed it quite a bit to where it actually got me interested in more Westerns, so I'll say that. So, Brian, take it away.
This movie is really compelling and thrilling, and also I haven't seen the original either, so I'm sorry. It's directed by James Mangold, who everybody may know for directing Walk the Line, Copland, and most recently, The Wolverine and Logan. You want to talk about someone that's versatile with his directing? This guy is versatile. 3:10 to Yuma, I will go on by saying that even though I haven't seen the original, it's one of the best remakes ever made. This film is absolutely fantastic. It's engaging, it's compelling, it's haunting, it's unpredictable. Christian Bale is fantastic in the movie. He plays a rancher who's basically on the run to find Russell Crowe's character, and their back and forth is insanely interesting. Like, it's really great stuff because Christian Bale's character, his name is Dan, and Russell Crowe's Ben. And I love this one particular exchange. You say one more word, and I'll cut you down right here. And then Ben's like, I like this side of you, Dan. I love, like, Russell Crowe and Christian Bale going back and forth. That's really great. Like, you have 2 amazing actors going back and forth. I love the Western. I love the scope of it. I love the look of it. James Mangold could do no wrong. Christian Bale is wonderful here. I want to watch this movie again. It's been quite a minute since I've seen this one. It's been a while. Since I've seen this movie, and I do recommend it. And even though I haven't seen the original, I'm sure the original is fantastic too. And I'm sure everyone could get enjoyment out of this one without seeing the original. So 3:10 to Yuma is mine, number 5.
Would you say it's been a Wild Wild West?
It's been a Wild Wild West.
The puns are flying out all the assholes and mouths today, children. All right, so I haven't seen 3:10 to Yuma in quite a while, but I know my dad's really big into Westerns, and so he's really kind of got me into the Western genre a little bit. And I remember seeing this. I blind bought it because I'm a huge fan of Christian Bale and Russell Crowe, and the very underrated, and I really hope he blows up someday so I can rub it in everyone's faces, Ben Foster. But yeah, it's a really great one, and it shows the talent behind James Mangold, who has created my number 1 currently favorite of the year, Logan. So very good pick indeed. All right. My number 5, every time when we can bring this movie up, I'm going to bring it up, so I don't give a shit if this has been the 5th time this year I've brought it up, The Prestige. Listen, I love me some magic films, I do. I like this film quite a bit. I would actually contend, maybe besides Memento, this is probably my favorite Christian Bale movie. I know I'm going to contradict myself later on the list, but...
You mean Christopher Nolan movie. You said favorite Christian Bale film.
Well, you know... I don't have any AC in my apartment this entire week, so I haven't really slept well, so I'm a little fever dreaming right now. But anyways, yeah, no, Prestige is one of my favorites from Christopher Nolan. And like I said, I'm going to contradict myself in a little bit, but just hold on, folks. I believe that, like, the non-Batman films are probably my favorite Christopher Nolan films. This is a really great thriller. It's got really great performances, really great set design, wonderful cinematography from Wally Pfister in the butt. It's just a really good-looking movie. David Bowie's in it. Rest in peace. I mean, it's just a really well-done thriller that's got a pretty unique little twist considering the time frame it's in. Or time period it's in. I just really enjoy it. I love his back and forth between Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson. It's just a really well done magic film. And if you like magic films and kind of integrated into like that suspense thriller territory, I think you'll really like this one. This one came out the same year as The Illusionist, and I think The Illusionist it's a solid film, and Edward Norton does a good job in it. But if I had to pick the winner that year, it was definitely The Prestige. I just absolutely love it. It's definitely one of Nolan's underrated ones. And no one doesn't really ever talk about anymore. I will always bring it up when I get the chance. So give it a shot if that's one of the Nolan films you have not seen yet. I don't know. Is this one on your list, or are we going to pass on this? What's going on?
This is not on my list.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Look, I know you love. I like The Prestige a lot as well. I think it's a pretty fucking good movie. I think it's one of Nolan's most underappreciated movies. I don't love it as much as you. I understand why you love it. Like, a lot. I totally get that. I could totally understand why some people may put this as their favorite Nolan movie. And first of all, the last time we brought this up was when we did the Scar Joe episode. And, it's just, listen, the best way to describe this movie to a typical person is that it's Batman and Wolverine trying to get Black Widow. That's it. That's the best way to describe it. But no, it's a good movie, and Bale is great in it. So yeah, good movie, fucking good.
Yeah. So I mean, as you can tell from the Batman trilogy, he's worked with him before, and he did The Prestige right in between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. So he was still kind of getting the hang of Christopher Nolan's directing, but then he just kind of grows from there. So yeah. So that's my number 5. What is your number 4?
My number 4, I am going with the film that he lost the most weight for, and that is The Machinist.
Okay.
Machinist is very, very insane. Christian Bale lost 62 pounds for this movie. That is fucking insane. That is absolutely terrifying. And I'm looking up his diet. His diet consisted of water, an apple, and 1 cup of coffee per day with the occasional whiskey. So that's approximately 55. That's what it says here. 55 to 260 calories. There's very little. I can't do that. I don't know how
crazy.
I don't know how he did it, but he fucking did it. The movie's really good, though. It's insane to watch. But you watch it for Bale, and he's fantastic in the movie. It's weird because he's a machinist who has insomnia and psychological problems, and then it leads to an accident, a serious work accident. And it's really – that's all you need to know. It's a great psychological thriller. It's intense from beginning to end. You have no idea what's going to happen. I only watched the movie because I was curious to see how Bale would act with such little weight. And he not only was he incredible, but the movie itself was really good. And, I love I always love psychological thrillers. Like, I love movies that deal with insomnia and psychological issues and, like, paranoia, delusionism. I love that shit. And Christian Bale is the perfect person to play this character. So, yeah, good movie. If you haven't seen it, it is kind of a hard watch. It's not the easiest of watches, but it's really good, and I highly recommend it. So if you guys have not seen The Machinist, I do suggest you check it out, especially if you're a huge Bale fan. So, yeah, The Machinist is my number 4.
Yeah, I'm going to pass, but I will mention on... if you guys didn't know this, Machinist actually came out before Batman Begins, so... After he got done filming The Machinist at the little weight that he was on already, he had to bulk up for Batman. So it was just, I bet his body did not fucking like him. Let's just put it that way. So I find that interesting that he literally went back and forth like that amongst those films. It's insane to do that to your body. Don't do that, kids. Do not do that. All right. My number 4, Brian's going to be very pissed at me, but whatever. This is why we fight. Speaking of fight, the fighter. I know. So, Brian's dead. All right, so I'll carry on the show. Listen, here's the deal, is that I like, boxing films. I like MMA films. I like just fighting films. I like sports movies. I love that shit. So, I remember when I saw The Fighter, I was like, damn, that was a really good movie. And I really love Christian Bale's performance. It was the first time that I ever saw him kind of be as vulnerable as he was. Like, he wasn't... he wasn't Batman. He wasn't this loud, boisterous like superhero. He wasn't, he wasn't a magician like in The Prestige. He didn't lose a lot of weight in The Machinist. He was very, very human. Like, it was a very human performance, and I loved his camaraderie between him and Mark Wahlberg. I really did feel like they were brothers, so they really did kind of bring that onto that level. Melissa Leo is great. She won the Oscar as well as Bale. So, I mean, he did win the Oscar for this. There's a reason for that. It's because I really did feel like it was the most human story he had done, and I really just kind of enjoyed his humble performance and going back and forth with Mark Wahlberg. I like it quite a bit, and it is one of those things where I can't rank it very high on my list, but for some weird reason, I can't stop thinking about it. So, you know what? The Fighter's my number 4, and Brian's going to go into more depth because obviously it's higher on his list because he has now risen back from the dead to yell at me. Brian, I'm going to assume you're going to pass on this.
I am certainly going to pass on this.
Oh, well, ready. Fuck me sideways. Just fuck me. You know what?
Wow.
Just fuck me for just ruining that for you, okay? I realize that I just shat all over the Fighter bed, and now you're just really pissed, but that's okay. Maybe you can explain why you love it more. All right, moving on into our top 3. I know for a fact that the Fighter is not going to be his number 3. It's going to be at least his top 2, so I will have that on my belt. So I'm really curious, what is your number 3?
I think you and I had the same number 3. My number 3 is The Dark Knight.
Wrong.
Damn. Well,
that was not a Trump audio bit. That was actually me impersonating him, and I thought I fucking nailed it. Comedy Central, hire me. Anyways, no, that is not my number 3. But thank you for playing. Go ahead. I'm just gonna spoiler alert. Pass on me, obviously. So, why is it ranked so low for you?
Well, because the entire Dark Knight trilogy alone is incredible. The Dark Knight is obviously the best one. The reason why I picked this one is because it's my favorite one of the trilogy. That's the first thing. Second, it's one of the best superhero movies ever made. It's incredible. And, we talked about this movie so many times with the superhero films and all this shit. Christian Bale is really fantastic as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I really loved his portrayal of this character. I know a lot of people like, mock the voice. Like, I get it. The voice is fucking hilarious. I know it's comedic gold. But what else can you say about The Dark Knight that hasn't been said? Christian Bale is just fantastic as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Now, granted, the movie where he probably showcased most of it was in The Dark Knight Rises, because everybody looks at The Dark Knight for being, Heath Ledger's movie, and, God bless the man, it is mostly his movie, but you can't just ignore that it's Bale leading the movie. He's incredible as Batman. There's a lot of great scenes in this movie. Haven't seen the movie in forever, but, I love The Dark Knight. You can't just push The Dark Knight aside. It's one of the best movies ever made, and yeah, Christian Bale, incredible as Batman. I would love to put the trilogy as my whole number 3, but I can't do that because that's considered cheating. But any hooters, Dark Knight, incredible. There's really not much to say, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. Good pick, though. My number 3 is one I did pass on, The Machinist. I was completely blown away by this movie. Just like with Brian, I'm a huge sucker for anything that has to deal with psychological shit. Like, if I just read you this plot synopsis and you don't know anything about this movie, you're already intrigued. So he basically plays a factory worker, Christian Bale, who has insomnia and he hasn't slept for an entire year. That's it. That's the fucking plot synopsis, and that's wonderful. It keeps it nice, short, clean, and to the point. You go in with knowing that, and it just kind of delves into this psychological madness that this character is kind of living through, and you get to live through it as an audience member, and it's just so wonderful. Because, like I said, I love movies that can just fuck with your head. This one fucks with your head, and it fucks with Bale's head throughout the entire movie. It's just a really well done thriller, and the whole weight loss thing people might see as a gimmick. I see it as commitment. I mean, the guy commits to his shit, regardless of what you think of his attitude or his antics outside of the industry. He's really good at what he does for a reason. He is on that level of like a Daniel Day-Lewis. He's very method. He really likes to get into the character, even if he sometimes doesn't, feel like he wants to be their Terminator Salvation, but you have to look at the man and go, he is committed. This is one of those kind of smaller ones. It wasn't really well pushed in theaters. It wasn't really well pushed in marketing. It was just kind of like, hey, it was there, and I think a lot more people found it on DVD and whatnot after Batman Begins. Because like I said, The Machinist came out right before Batman Begins, like a year earlier. So after Batman Begins, after Christian Bale blows the fuck up, I'll guarantee you most of the views and the sales actually for The Machinist actually came out or happened after the Batman Begins. So that's wonderful for Batman Begins to kind of push it onto The Machinist. It's wonderful. So really great psychological thriller, very well shot, very well edited. It's just a really well done film if you're into those types of movies. So that is my number 3. Okay, so getting into our top 2 now. This is where the interesting thing happens. Since Brian is from the East Coast, and he pretty much lives around people that talk like, where's my fucking car type of deal. I am very 100% certain that he's probably got The Fighter as his number 1, since that appeals to his culture, right? But then again, what's his other one? Did he? No, he didn't pass. So, ooh. Hold on, folks. I think Brian actually has The Big Short as his number 2 and The Fighter as his number 1. Brian, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is a film that does take place on the East Coast. It takes place in New York City. Now, it involves stocks, law, a lot of shit. My number 2 is not The Big Short.
Oh, fuck.
My number 2 is your number 1, most likely your number 1, American Psycho.
Brian, can you answer me this? Why do you hate elderly women? Why do you hate puppies? And
no, don't bring up puppies. You know what he did to the puppy? What he did to that fucking puppy?
Why do you hate puppies with cancer? And why do you hate like every single precious thing in life?
Chase Lee, you know that my number 1 I've loved more than this one. Listen, American Psycho. Patrick Bateman is a fucking wonderful character. Wonderfully developed character. I hate that Chase had to bring up the dog, because if you guys have seen the movie, you know what he does to that fucking poor little innocent dog. You know what he does to that dog. God damn it. Yeah. Why did you have to bring up the dog? You know what he does to that dog in the alley?
Brian, just explain yourself why you hate this movie so much.
I don't hate this movie. It's number 2.
It's really low.
You're really low.
You're really low.
Listen, I know I am. Listen, I'm sorry that this isn't my number 1. I'm sorry. It's number 2, and that's good enough for me. Look, American Psycho, it's so fucking funny. It's so scary. It's a wonderful movie. Christian Bale is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. This is tied for his best performance with Dickie Eklund in The Fighter. And I'll talk more about that when we get to that one. But it's scary, it's intense, you have no idea what's going to happen. Patrick Bateman really is he's a well-written character, he's fleshed out, he's a fantastic character. He's wonderful. The screenplay is incredible. The dialogue is absolutely euphorically terrific. Like, there's no qualms with the writing. This movie made me love one song, and that's called Hip to Be Square by Huey Lewis and the News. Hip to Be Square.
Hey, Paul!
Yeah!
If you don't know that, then watch American Psycho when he kills a certain other celebrity.
Yeah,
which is funny because that other celebrity has played his nemesis. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit! What did I just say?
And yeah, you bring up the cast too. Oh my god, this cast is fucking ecstatically awesome. You got William Dafoe, Jared Leto, Justin Theroux, Reese Witherspoon, Josh Lucas. You got a lot of good people in this movie. And, Chase knows that I love musicals. I don't fucking understand how the living fuck you can make a Broadway musical out of American Psycho. I don't understand how the fuck that's even a thing. Luckily, it closed because you know what? Not even necessary. And then they made
But you know what, though? It could actually play out kind of like Sweeney Todd if you played it out that way. Like, it could be like that kind of, yes, it's violent, but also, because when I get to, when we talk about it, is like, Patrick Bateman is an anti-hero. For some weird reason, you like the motherfucker. Like, he's very suave, and he's very smooth and charming, but you don't know if he's doing this shit or not. So, like, that's the dilemma.
You really don't. You really don't. He's a great example of an anti-hero, and the movie is absolutely incredible. It's on HBO if anyone wants to watch it. It's not for everybody. A lot of people are going to be like, too violent, too stupid, too much. Just everyone needs to calm down. I thought the movie was wonderful, and yeah, number 2 for me, American Psycho. And you know what the cool thing was? This movie was NC-17 originally. The producers only excluded 18 seconds of footage to obtain an R rating. 18 seconds.
So stupid. Hey, listen, the MPA is another rant for another day, but whatever. All right,
yes, it is. Yep, that's it. American Psycho, check it out. The end. Case closed.
Yeah, and I'm going to actually blow everyone's mind when I get to American Psycho, which is my number 1. But my number 2, obviously, I passed on it. You got to go The Dark Knight. I don't give a shit if you think it's overrated or not. This is one of the best superhero films. It is one of the best films of definitely the 2000s. This is a Batman movie. A lot of people are like, yes, it's Heath Ledger. He won the Oscar. It was a great performance. And I totally agree with you. But the Joker does not work without the other side of the coin, which is Batman. You have to have that back and forth. And Christian Bale and Heath Ledger actually had some really great back and forth in the movie. And yes, each individual scene that they were in together was still great. It's a really well done crime drama. It's not really a superhero movie at that point. It's just about a psychotic dude who wants to see the world burn, and this other guy is trying to stop him. And Joker gets inside of his head. You guys know how how their chemistry works, but it's really well done from Hans Zimmer's engrossing score to Wally Pfister's once again brilliant cinematography, great practical stunts and action sequences that really kind of immerse you into this world, this Gotham that's so dirty and vile. I love the movie. You can't deny, you can't shy away from it because it's overrated. You can't lie to yourself. It is one of the best. And it's one of Bale's best. And that's what, honestly, as much as I love, American Psycho and The Machinist and The Prestige, he's going to be known for Batman. I mean, that's just the way it goes. When he passes on from this earth, which, knock on wood, I hope it's not for a very long time, he's going to be known for The Dark Knight. And it is for that very reason why it's my number 2. And hey, listen, I realize I just said that The Prestige and Memento might be my favorite Christopher Nolan, but yet The Dark Knight is higher. I like superhero movies, and I think that's where the edge comes from. Is like, it's a really well done film. I love superhero films. This is definitely one that's going to go down as one of the best. Simple as that. So, all right. So getting into our number 1s, I will go first only because I have to. I love the fact that Brian and I have this platform to bring up movies that probably none of you have ever even fucking heard of or ever even seen. What am I talking about? American Psycho is actually not the only movie in a universe. I actually picked this movie up because I knew it was written by the same dude who did write American Psycho. When I watched the movie, it didn't really click with me that this movie was in the same universe as American Psycho, but that movie would be with James Van Der Beek, The Rules of Attraction. If you guys have not seen this movie, James Van Der Beek plays Sean Bateman, his fucking brother. That is a legit thing that a lot of people don't know about. So the Rules of Attraction is actually in the same universe as American Psycho. Get up on that, because this movie is actually, I would even say, on the same par as American Psycho. It is absolutely wonderful. But getting to American Psycho, the film that started it all, it's so good. Just like what Brian said, the writing it just puts you in a trance. I love all of his monologues. I just love his character. It's very well fleshed out. You are drawn to him every single word that he utters. And at the very end of the movie, I'm not going to say how it ends, but you do sit back as an audience member going, did everything that we just see happen? Was it all in his mind? I don't know. And that's the fun about this movie, is we see this maniacal character who is a serial killer. He kills a lot of people. At the very end, we don't actually know what's real and what's not. And that's the kind of fun in the movie, because then you want to go back and rewatch it. The acting is all strong here. The direction is very tense. It's very psychotic in some parts. And if you do like Christian Bale and you think he's a sexy human being, this is the first time where I remember seeing butt, like male ass. Christian Bale running down a apartment complex hallway covered in blood with a chainsaw, running naked. It's one of the most iconic scenes, guys. But no, if you do like some Christian Bale nude scenes, there you go. It's a little extra bonus. But, Jared Leto is also in this. Reese Witherspoon. I need to return some videotapes. It's like, you will be quoting that movie for days. I am telling you this. He's just a very interesting character who hates humanity. He hates other humans. And that's what causes him to kind of go insane. But did he? Like, it's just, it's so good. It is definitely the best performance he has ever done, ever given. You can't beat it. Unless he works with like a Paul Thomas Anderson or like a Scorsese, or wait a minute, he hasn't worked with Scorsese yet, has he?
No.
Okay,
no,
so
no.
I have a feeling until he works with like a really well-renowned director, which I'm not saying he hasn't, but like I'm talking about another director to kind of carry him over into the Oscar status. Because yes, he was nominated for stuff like The Big Short, which I don't think he should have been nominated for. I like The Big Short quite a bit, but Steve Carell should have been nominated, but that's a different story. But he's starting to get more recognition in these movies that he's doing, these smaller films. I just want him to like actually kind of work with like a PTA or a Martin Scorsese and really go there to see if he can top the American Psycho performance, because until then, it won't. That is my favorite thing that he's ever done, my favorite performance. And check out the Rules of Attraction. I know James Van Der Beek is not really a good selling point, but he delivers a really great kind of psychotic performance because, like I said, he is related, so he's going to have the same kind of mental issues as Patrick Bateman. So please watch it. It's in the same universe. How fucking awesome is that? So my number one, American Psycho. Brian, why is Christian Bale looking like a homeless smoker your favorite performance and movie?
Before The Fighter came out, the only things I had seen Christian Bale in were the Dark Knight films. Well, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, because at the time I wasn't like such a huge cinephile, and I didn't watch like American Psycho, Prestige, all those films. So when I saw him in this, I'm like, that's Batman. What? That's wonderful. I am so happy he won the Oscar for this. I think he totally deserved the Oscar that year. He lost a lot of weight for this movie too. And for people who don't know, Dickie Eklund, he was once a big time fighter, but then he started getting into heroin and really, really bad drugs, and like he was not a healthy guy. He was always getting in trouble. He was always getting in trouble with the cops. He was always missing training sessions with his brother Mickey, who's played by Mark Wahlberg. And halfway through the movie, he has one of the best character transformations I've seen in recent memory. Like, you watch the movie and you're like, wow, this character has gone really far. It's incredible, the transformation that he went through. And Bale is absolutely phenomenal here. I still think this is the best performance he's ever given. Him and Mark Wahlberg really worked off each other very well, and I bought them as brothers. This to me is David O. Russell's best movie. This is the best thing he's ever done. And I know the guy He's not the most respected filmmaker in Hollywood, but he still is a good filmmaker. Like, this was good. Silver Lines was good. American Hustle was overrated, but I still think it's a good movie. Joy was and whatever else he does next, I'm hoping is good. But Bale is phenomenal here. Then Chase brought up Amy Adams, Melissa Leo, who are both great as well. Melissa Leo won the Oscar too. It's a great movie. I still don't get how Mark Wahlberg wasn't nominated for an Oscar for this because everyone else was nominated except for him. The lead fucking man, the fighter himself, was not even nominated. So what the fuck, Academy? What the fuck? But no, in the end, The Fighter to me is my favorite Christian Bale movie. I've seen it so many times, despite its kind of heartbreaking subject matter, but at the same time, it's very happy. It ends very happy. So it's a great box story, a great story of brotherhood, and I love it. I really do love it, and yeah, great movie, just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good movie, and like I said, it's on my list. It's just I prefer twisted shit. You guys know this. That's why The Machinist and American Psycho are my top 3. But yeah, so what about you guys? What are your favorite Christian Bale movies? Comment down below and let us know. And to get into our honorable mentions, I gotta be honest with you, I haven't really seen a lot of his movies. I'm not even joking. I recently saw Howl's Moving Castle, the dub version, and he plays Howl. I like that one. It's a good little, Batman Begins. Rescue Dawn is a really great kind of a POW movie. He's a prisoner of war and he tries to like escape and shit. It's a really well done type of thriller. Dark Knight Rises, American Hustle, I guess is fine. The Big Short, and that's about it. And I gotta say this right off the bat, I am so looking forward to him playing Dick Cheney in the the movie from Adam McKay. Holy shit, what a great casting. Anyways, that's all my honorable mentions, because like I said, I really haven't seen that much. So, Brian, what about you?
Yeah, for me, definitely the other 2 Batman movies for sure. Prestige, definitely. I know a lot of people diss on Public Enemies. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. I think it's fine, and he's good in the movie. It's it's okay at best. I agree with you. American Hustle, like I said earlier, it's a good movie, and he's fantastic in the movie, but my God, it's so overrated. I'm sorry. It was not the best movie of 2013. It was The Wolf of Wall Street, and that's a given fact. I have not seen Rescue Dawn. I want to watch it. Haven't gotten around to watching it. Empire of the Sun. That was his first big movie. It was directed by Spielberg. It came out 30 years ago, and he was only like 13 when he made the movie. It's really good. It's really good. He also plays a prisoner of war in this movie, but as a kid, and it's insane because he comes from a wealthy British family, and all of a sudden becomes a prisoner of war in Japan. That's insane. And it's crazy because when I first saw the movie, I'm like, I know that face. Who is that? Then when it said it was Christian Bale, I'm like, Christian Bale? Fuck. Wow. I want him and Spielberg to work together again. Is that it? A Big Short, which I agree. He shouldn't have been nominated for, but good movie, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, so he's got all the good ones in the bag, and as far as bad ones, I got to bring it up. Everyone brings it up. It's because it's true. Terminator Salvation, I believe, is the worst thing he's ever been a part of. And listen, I haven't seen a lot of his shit. Case in point, Reign of Fire, Equilibrium, Out of the Furnace, I haven't seen Exodus, Gods of Kings, Knight of Cups. Like, I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but I can tell you right now, the biggest problem with Terminator Salvation, I do not remember what the hell happened in that movie. I just remember there was a digitally enhanced young Arnold. That was about it. It really made no sense. It was just all bloated. I don't remember shit. I remember Terminator Genesis more than Salvation, and that was a garbage movie. I remember Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines more than number 4. It's a very forgettable movie, and yes, the rant came out of that movie. That didn't help it. But he plays John Connor. I didn't buy him as John Connor whatsoever. It is the worst thing he's been a part of. It's the worst thing I've seen because, like I said, I haven't seen a handful of his movies. So I'm going to say for right now, Terminator Salvation is my least favorite thing he has done.
Yeah, Terminator Salvation is definitely the worst thing he's ever done for sure. It's a really bad movie, and I agree with you. Terminator Genesis is more memorable than this one, and it's not just because Terminator Genesis came out 2 years ago. It's because it was more memorable than this one, and it was much better than this one. I hated Exodus so much. That movie was fucking horrible, and Christian Bale was fine in the movie. But my God, what a bad movie. And it's sad because, Ridley Scott made, but then thank God he came back to form with, The Martian, and Alien Covenant looks fantastic. I have not seen Out of the Furnace. I hear it's good. I haven't watched it yet. Night of Cups fucking blows. I hate Terrence Malick so much. So that might be a biased thing. And Newsies. He did that when he was a kid. It's a good musical. I've watched clips from the musical, and it's great. But why would he do this? Just why? But you know what? He's got a few things coming out that look promising. Not The Promise. Hostiles, directed by Scott Cooper. That's the guy who made Out of the Furnace. He also made Crazy Heart. He made Black Mass. So, that could be good. And he's in Andy Serkis' Jungle Book movie, voicing Bagheera. So, that could be good too. It's been, forever since they started making that movie. So, yeah, Christian Bale, he's got a lot coming out. And the Dick Cheney movie too, that sounds fantastic. So, yep, Christian Bale, the Balester, the Christian,
Balester.
Bale.
Yeah, so, listen, guys, he's got a handful of them out there that are great, and some of them are very average or not. So, what about you guys? Just all down below, your favorite, least favorite, let us know. I always respond. I always love you guys. So, all right, so that will do it for this week's episode, guys. Just to recap before we get into next week's subject, Brian from 5 to 1, 310 to Yuma, The Machinist, The Dark Knight, American Psycho, and The Fighter. Myself from 5 to 1, The Prestige, The Fighter, The Machinist, The Dark Knight, and American Psycho. 4 out of the 5 have the word "the" in there. All right, Brian, what are we doing next week?
Next week, The Circle comes out, but we've already honored the legendary Tom Hanks. We are going to be doing something interesting because obviously it's going to be the last week before the summer movie season kicks off, even though it kind of kicked off with Fate of the Furious, but whatever. We are going to be doing our top 5 most anticipated blockbusters of summer 2017.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. We did this last year. I'm excited to do it again this year. And then, of course, at the end of the summer, Brian and I will already plan out the episodes of the best summer movies and the worst summer movies. So that will be at the end of the summer. But the beginning will be the preview for sure. That will be a lot of fun. And yeah, I know I said we'd do a double episode this week. I'm tired, so we'll hold off on that, but you guys get this sweet-ass episode, so spread it around, So, Brian, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at FilmJunkieBrian and on YouTube at Brian Sutfield.
That is right, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at RealChaselee. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow on everything. Just tell people about this podcast and let them know it's pretty decent. It's something that you, like if you were, like, stranded in a park and you had like 5% left on your phone, and you want to entertain yourself before you die of like starvation, like the cold weather, just listen to the podcast. I think you'll like it. So, all right, so that will do it for this week's episode of Christian Bale. Next week, the preview of the summer top 5 most anticipated. Hell to the fuck to the ass, yeah. All right, so I'm Chase Lee.
And I'm Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live. Peace out, everyone. Continue to comment down below and share it around. Bye-bye.